Blackheart, I have done thy bidding, but I hunger still. What wouldst thou have more? Said Morgoth. Dost thou desire all the world for thy belly? I did not vow to give thee that. I am its lord. Not so much, said Ungoliant. But thou hast the great treasure from Fominos. I will have all that. Yes, with both hands. Thou shalt give it. Happy Halloween, everyone. I want to talk about a character from Tolkien's legendarium that I really think is underrated. Ungoliant. This is an ode to Ungoliant. And I feel like there's certain aspects of Ungoliant that no one has really talked about or noticed. So I kind of want to talk about Ungoliant today, as well as talk about how she inspired one of the biggest villains in my fantasy series, Godshards. Ungoliant has always fascinated me, and I think the reason why is no other creature of evil in Tolkien's legendarium has the sort of independence that she had. Sauron's up there as well. When Morgoth was active, Sauron was basically just his lieutenant, like he was just operating his will. But Ungoliant, on the other hand, did her own thing. And there's a lot of very fascinating things about Ungoliant. And instead of just describing her part in the Silmarillion, I just want to talk about like the underlying reason of why I think Ungoliant is cool. She is basically proto-cosmic horror. And I say proto-cosmic horror because this is like just on the cusp of Lovecraft and other stuff that's true cosmic horror. But seriously, stop me if you heard this one. Ungoliant is a creature of semi-unknown origins from the void who interacts with the setting in weird ways and who wants to devour everything. Isn't that not cosmic horror? See, the reason why Ungoliant isn't true cosmic horror, however, is because, well, one crucial aspect of cosmic horror is existential dread. You know, the idea that these creatures are so powerful that you basically have no real chance. Ungoliant does not quite fit this part of it, and that's why she's proto-cosmic horror. Because as much as I love Ungoliant, let's be honest, she is basically just a glorified henchman. Ungoliant was still afraid of Melkor, she was afraid of the Valar, she needed Melkor to urge her into action, but despite her being a glorified henchman, literally the parts of the Silmarillion that feature her and Melkor/Morgoth together are some of the most entertaining and awesome parts of the Silmarillion. There's a reason why Ungoliant has so much fan art, and so much of it relates to either the destruction of the two trees, or when she tried to attack Morgoth. And I feel like that's another crucial thing to know. Despite how powerful Morgoth was, he had to coerce Ungoliant to do what he wanted, which is very different from how he interacts with any other creatures. And while Morgoth was expressly weakened by events, the fact that Ungoliant was actually able to be a capable threat to what is Tolkien's equivalent of the devil, yeah, that's quite a memorable part. True, she was driven away by the Balrogs, but not before causing the devil of Middle-earth to scream, even if it was that scream that basically awoke the Balrogs. But that's not even all. The way Ungoliant interacts with things in the setting is so strange, but also kinda cool. For example, creatures of darkness in Tolkien's legendarium for the most part don't like the sun, they don't like light. While some of them tolerate it later on, certain kinds of orcs and trolls, for the most part, creatures of darkness do not like the sun. Whether it turns them into stone or just literally burns them, it just doesn't mesh well. And so with that recognition, now we gotta look at what Ungoliant does. When she confronts the two trees, she devours its sap. That is a lot of light that, again, it's not burning her, it's not hurting her, it's making her stronger. When she eats those other gems from Fominos, again, they make her stronger. And I'm really glad that Morgoth didn't give her the Silmarils. Yeah, it was for selfish reasons, but I can only imagine how much worse things would have been for Arda if Morgoth had given her the Silmarils. Seriously, like, Ungoliant wanted to eat the Silmarils. The same Silmarils that were burning Morgoth's hand, where one of them burnt up Kargaroth, the most powerful werewolf of all time. One of them burned him from the inside out, and yet Ungoliant wanted to devour all three. Seriously, that is terrifying. So while Ungoliant definitely fears light, it doesn't seem to hurt her like anything else. Little things like these lead to a character that stands out. And it's just such an interesting thing to behold, even if her appearance in the books is so brief. Sometimes it's about the quality over the quantity. So now let's talk about Morgash. Like, I would be completely transparent, Morgash is heavily inspired by Ungoliant. To the point where I took the concept of Ungoliant and basically just kind of, played it up to 11. Morgash is a creature from the void who wants to devour everything. And just like how Ungoliant has spider-like spawns, including, of course, Shelob, Morgash has a similar thing going on. Although granted, Morgash is still in the void, she doesn't have a physical form of her own yet, and in fact that's actually a plot point of the books, is that she's trying to get one. I pray up Morgash's power level and stuff, so she's basically like an existential threat to the setting. I also widened the repertoire of creatures. Besides the spiders, I also give her giant wasps. And you see them in the first chapter of The Six Strangers. And there's a fungus, which is going to appear in a certain short story. I have plans for scorpions, millipedes, and all these other things. I'm trying to play to the strengths of what made Ungoliant awesome, while basically improving on it and upgrading the concept of Ungoliant from being a glorified henchman to a cosmic monster, an existential threat that is as entertaining as she is frightening. I'm going to leave you guys with one question. When Ungoliant calls Morgoth Blackheart, is that supposed to be a term of endearment or an insult? I genuinely have no idea. What are your thoughts?